Hi everyone, welcome back to the Madsen Minutes. Today we're talking about a topic that can be a bit tricky to talk about, serial monogamy. So what exactly is serial monogamy? It's when you move from one serious relationship to the next without taking much or any time to be single or reflect. It's not just about having multiple relationships, it's about how quickly you get into the next one, without giving yourself time to heal or grow. You know, bouncing from one partner to another like it's a never-ending cycle.
Oh, so you just can't stop binging? Always on to the next, no break, no space, just nonstop drama. Yeah, I've been there. Like, why do we feel like we need to be with someone all the time?
Well, Ava, I'm glad you asked. So let's break it down and see what's really going on. Why do we feel like we have to be in a relationship all the time? Is it the fear of being alone, or maybe we're just addicted to the rush? How can we stop jumping from one partner to the next without actually taking time for ourselves? All right, the first sign is that feeling where every person you date is the one. You know, that person who swears every new partner is the one? Like, babe, you might just be looking for validation, not love.
Oh, totally. If you're telling your friends they're the one on the first date, maybe it's time to slow down. You don't need a relationship to define your worth or happiness.
Precisely. Maybe it's time to think less about forever and more about, let's see how we vibe first. Relationships aren't one size fits all, and there's no rush to make it a big deal right away. Moving on to another big one. You know that feeling when you can't even stand being single for a hot minute? It's like the moment a relationship ends. You're already on the hunt for the next one without taking time to heal. Does that sound familiar? If so, well, that's a classic sign of serial monogamy.
Yes, if you're constantly seeking someone to fill the void, you're never giving yourself a chance to really reflect and heal. The best thing you can do is spend time being comfortable alone, not because you're unlovable, but because you're giving yourself space to grow.
Right. Being single doesn't mean you're some kind of relationship reject. It just means you're taking the time to focus on your emotional health. When you're confident and whole on your own, that's when the right relationship can finally slide in.
Okay, but how long is long enough to be on your own before jumping back into the dating scene? Like, is there a rule or should we just vibe it out?
Well, honestly, there's no one size fits all answer, but I believe taking at least a few months to focus on yourself is key. It's about making sure you're in a place where you're okay being single and aren't rushing into another relationship just because you feel lonely or because your other friends have already paired off.
Love that. Basically, you need to date yourself first before dating someone else, right?
I believe so. When you're comfortable being on your own, that's when you know you're ready to really connect with someone else, without all that emotional baggage. All right, moving on to the next sign. You know that moment when things start moving way too fast? Like all of a sudden you're talking about moving in together or even marriage after just a few dates? That can definitely be a sign of serial monogamy.
Whoa, slow down, babe. You shouldn't feel pressured to dive into anything just because you're trying to avoid being alone. Just be careful. Rushing things isn't healthy. And when the butterflies fade, that's when the real work begins. If you rush into things too fast, you might miss the chance to actually build something solid. And what about the fear of being single? I know so many people who would rather jump into a relationship than face the idea of being single.
That's a really good point and so true. But listen, being alone isn't the worst thing in the world. It's all about the fear of being lonely. But loneliness is not the same as being single. You have to learn to love your own company before you can truly love someone else.
And there's nothing wrong with taking time for yourself. Trust me, the right relationship will come when you're ready, not just when you need it.
So, how do we break the cycle of serial monogamy? First, you gotta recognize the pattern. If you're jumping from relationship to relationship without giving yourself space, it may be time for a pause. Take a step back, breathe, and focus on yourself before diving into another relationship. You can't build something solid if you haven't taken time to understand your own needs first.
Absolutely. And the best thing you can do? Take time for yourself. Seriously, stop dating for a bit, reflect on what you actually want, and learn from your past relationships. Healing takes time. And when you're ready to date again, take it slow. No rush, no pressure. Let the relationship develop naturally without forcing it.
That's great advice. So if you find yourself in this serial monogamous cycle, it's time to break free. Take some time for yourself, heal, and focus on becoming emotionally independent. The right relationship will come when you're ready.
It's all about finding balance and taking the time to grow. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found yourself in this pattern and how you're dealing with it.
And always remember, being happy alone is the first step to being happy in any relationship. Love and peace until next time, for more minutes worth every second.